21 години в Вриндаван, общо 22 в Индия.
So we'll have simultaneous translations just like this in Russian, in Spanish, in Italian, in Hindi. I don't know, maybe in Bulgarian. I don't think so. Maybe. Usually it's Russian, Spanish, Hindi, and like that. Usually.
Същия начин по време на лекциите в Вриндаван.
Of course, in Vrindavan they have a Hindi class that goes on simultaneously in another location.
Едновременно имаше преводи на руски, английски, испански, навсякъде всеки.
Okay, so anyways, when we join or do a spiritual pursuit, either we are distressed,
Когато преследваме духовно развитие, или сме обезпокоени,
desiring wealth or money,
желаещи богатство и пари,
we are curious or inquisitive,
имаме просто интерес или сме
or searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Или търсим познание за абсолютната истина.
So, just to give you a little background of who I am and where I come from, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I, became interested in the spiritual life.
За да ви дам малко бекграунд откъде идвам аз и как започна моят духовен път, ще ви разкажа малко за себе си.
So when I was 12 years old,
когато бях на 12 години,
and this is also in my horoscope or kundali.
Това всъщност го има и в моя хороскоп.
That is the Vedic or sidereal astrology as opposed to the what is called the other type, Christian or based on the calendar of.
Това всъщност е ведическата астрология, която е малко по-различна.
And it's also there in the Christian astrology as well. But I was very active in the church, and I was praising the Lord. I was in the church choir, although I don't have a very good voice, but I was singing in the choir.
Бях в църковния хор всъщност и нямах много добър глас, обаче все пак бях в църковния хор.
And I got a taste, a small taste of God.
И развих мъничък вкус към Бога.
And so I continued that pursuit in the church for a couple of years, but I wasn't satisfied.
Затова продължих това преследване на този вкус, но не бях удовлетворен.
So I started searching and tried many different Christian paths.
Затова търсих и изпробвах всякакви различни типове християнски варианти и пътища.
Like one of the ones that's famous that was in America at the time was trying to speak in tongues, where you manipulate your voice in such a way that you're trying to communicate with angels and spirits.
Един от тях всъщност беше някакси си извивахме езиците и си променяхме гласа така, че да общуваме с ангели и някакви други създания.
My father was the treasurer of the Episcopalian, which is like Anglican in England, Protestant church. He was the treasurer.
Баща ми беше ковчежника като епископа не разбрах точно какво имаше предвид. Окей, на английската църква.
I wasn't searching for wealth because I was born in a very, you could say, intelligent. My father was the chief engineer and chief designer for all the commercial Boeing aircraft that you travel on since the 1940s. 707, 727, 737, 747, 767. My dad was the designer, so there was not a problem of money for my family.
Никога не съм имал проблем с парите, защото идвам от семейство, интелигентно семейство, което имаше възможности. Баща ми се занимаваше. Той беше дизайнер на самолети Boeing 747, 757 и така нататък. И не съм имал нужда от пари никога.
So he was a little bit upset when his only son became interested in Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna.
Баща ми малко се разочарова, когато единственият му син се поинтересува от Кришна съзнание, от Харе Кришна.
Fortunately, my youngest sister, she became the scientist and the engineer in the family.
За щастие, моята сестра, тя се превърна в този учен инженер в семейството.
So I was searching for the absolute truth, but I wasn't ready to surrender.
И аз търсих за абсолютната истина, но не бях готов да се отдам напълно.
So then something very distressful happened.
И тогава се случи нещо доста безпокояващо за мен.
I was very popular in school, in high school. I was the ski club president and the treasurer of the senior class.
Аз бях доста известен в гимназията, бях нещо като лидера на ски клуба и ковчежника на ски класа.
I grew up in a suburb of Seattle, Washington, which is the home of Boeing, Microsoft, and Amazon.
Роден съм в Сиатъл, Вашингтон, където е дома на Microsoft.
On a freshwater lake, you know, snow skiing in the winter, water skiing in the summer, all these friends, parties. This is all in high school. And then, when I was 16 years old, I had a horrible snow skiing accident.
И живях в такава местност с прекрасни езера, свежа вода, зимно време карахме ски, лятно време се събирахме и в един момент ми се случи една много неприятна катастрофа.
And for 8 hours, no medication, no painkiller. I was taken by the ski patrol from the top of the mountain, by ambulance from the ski resort to Seattle. And that way I realized there's so much pain and suffering.
И 8 часа страдание, бях много тежко ранен, взеха ме с линейка, караха ме до болницата и тогава съзнах какво страдание преживявам.
And by the time I got back to, when I recovered, I had a plaster, all the way up and around my waist.
Докато се възстановя, имах такъв като шина гигантска от глезена до хълбука, насякъде обхванат бях.
And for more than 1 year, that remained on my body.
И за повече от една година това остана върху тялото ми.
But something very interesting happened.
Нещо много интересно се случи тогава.
This is 1968.
Това е 1968.
This is the grand opening of ISKCON Seattle.
Това е голямото отваряне на Искон в Сиатъл.
I was lying on my back on the sofa with this cast on and watching the 6 o'clock television news.
Лежах си на дивана с тази гигантска шина върху себе си и гледах новините в 6 часа.
And there was Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, the devotees, and Srila Prabhupad. It was the grand opening of the Seattle temple, showering flowers. I said, that's it.
И там даваха
That's for me.
Джаганат, Баладев, Субхадрадев и всичките предано дадени дъжд от цветя и просто аз казах, това е моето нещо.
And I gave my heart at that time to Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. I said, that's what I want to do.
В този момент аз си ударох сърцето на бхактите и на Шрила Прабхупад и си казах, това е нещо, с което аз искам да се занимавам.
But probably in Bulgaria, most European and American countries, you have to continue your school till you're 18 years of age.
Но обичайно в Европа и в Америка трябва да продължиш обучението в училище докато си на 18.
And we lived approximately, let's say 45-50 kilometers from the Seattle temple. We lived on a lake out in the,
Живяхме на езеро около 45-50 км разстояние от Сиатълския.
But oftentimes my parents would take myself or I would drive into what is called the University District, University of Washington. And that's where I would see the devotees doing Harinam.
В университетската област, всъщност, там виждах всъщност бхактите как правят Харинам.
So anyways, that's how I became, then later, finally, I went to college.
Всъщност по-късно отидах в колеж.
And I started visiting the temple both in Vancouver and Seattle.
Започнах да посещавам храма в Ванкувър и в Сиатъл.
But that would be on the weekends.
Това беше през уикендите.
And those were the days when, it was love and peace. And I was a honors college student, but at the same time, it was the 60s and early 70s. So it was a very complicated time for, revolution, enjoying, etc.
Но през уикендите беше спокойно, но аз бях и също студент. И това беше времето, в което имаше малко революция и беше малко да се наслаждаваш, да ти бъде приятно и готино.
Anyway, to try to make a long story short, because I wanted to talk about a few other things. Finally, the temple president, who was a short, black, radical, very sweet devotee, his name was Sukadev.
За да го дам накратко, защото искам да говоря за други неща. Всъщност, храмовия президент беше нисичък, дребен, прекрасен човек името му беше...
He was like, you could say, the bad cop, and the good cop is a very famous devotee from Vrindavan named Dinabandhu. How many of you know who Dinabandhu is? Okay, yes, okay. So Dinabandhu was the temple president in Portland, which was just a few hours away, kind of like Varna is to Burgess, or to, you know, like that.
Dinabandhu беше пък храмов президент в храма в Сиатъл.
So he was the good cop.
Той беше доброто ченге.
And Sukadeva was like the bad cop.
Шукадев беше като лошото ченге.
So whenever I would go to Portland, you know, Prabhupada came there once, okay? Srila Prabhupada came there, but I still had my long hair.
И когато бях в Портланд веднъж в храма и Прабхупад дойде там, но аз все още бях с дългата си коса.
But Dinabandhu was always, you know, very friendly, you know, very enthusiastic, you know, nice prasadam, you know, he's a very excellent cook, he and his wife.
Dinabandhu винаги е бил много смирен, много състрадателен, предан отдаден и той готвеше много прекрасен прасадам и организираше прекрасни програми.
But it wasn't until Sukadev took his finger and he said, David, my legal name is David, you have been coming here for 3 years. Get the hell out of here.
И Шукадев тогава дойде и ми каза, Дейвид, това е легалното ми име, Дейвид, ти идваш тук от 3 години. Трябва да се махаш от тук.
You've been coming here, you're chanting Hare Krishna on the weekends, and then you go back to your college maya, your college sense enjoyment.
Идваш тук през уикендите, повтаряш Харе Кришна и после се връщаш в мая, в материалното наслаждение.
You know, we had a nice house, and we had a sauna, a teepee, and we were growing, you know, different types of magical herbs in the back and in the house. Things that you don't have in Bulgaria.
Имахме сауна, телевизия и отглеждахме едни такива магически билки в задния двор, нали.
And I was baking the bread and playing the Radha Krishna Temple album. You know, George Harrison, the Beatles, and LSD, and all these things, you know, all combined with Hare Krishna, mixed up, you know.
Всъщност аз, нали, пеках си хляба, слушах Джордж Харисън, Рада и Кришна албума, готвих си какво ли не правих и всички тия неща, LSD, всичко това умешано.
So the Native Americans, Hare Krishna, you know, George Harrison, LSD, you know, marijuana, all these things combined. So Sukadev, you know, the radical Seattle temple president, he said, David, you have been doing this for 3 or 4 years. Get the hell out of here.
Сега Шукадев дойде при мен и ми каза, Дейвид, 3-4 години го правиш това нещо, изчезва от тук.
Anyway, it's a long story, but I bought a Volkswagen Beetle for $500, a 1959 Volkswagen Bug, and I drove it from my university to the Mexican border, went to British Honduras, Belize, and ran through the jungles.
Купих си Volkswagen Beetle за $500, карах до границите до мексиканската граница и просто бягах през джунглите.
Sukadev said, you just follow these 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no sex, no gambling. For 1 month. And chant these 16 rounds, and you will shave your head, and you will move into this temple.
Шукадев ми каза, само за 1 месец следвай тези 4 регулиращи принципа, без ядене на месо и яйца, без нелегален секс, без интоксиканти и без хазарт. И остани 1 месец в храма, ще се обръснеш косата и ще станеш предан отдаден.
So there was a very famous Hawaiian Hare Krishna tune. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I would sing that. I would sing my japa 6 or 7 hours a day like that. Running through the jungle.
И по този начин аз си пях по този начин джапата по 6 часа, бягайки из джунглите.
And I'll even show you what did I look like after that took place. From my Facebook page. 1 minute.
Когато тези неща се случваха,
I surrendered. It worked. Oh my God. Anyway, I came back to Los Angeles 1 month later, and who was there? Prabhupada. I couldn't believe it.
дойдох в Лос Анджелес месец по-късно и кой беше там? Прабхупад. Не можех да повярвам.
Okay, 1 minute. So I wasn't expecting that, but anyways. Well, that's me with Prabhupada, and that's a little bit later, but that's my Facebook page. That's myself right there.
That's a very famous photo of Prabhupada, huh?
Yes, this is in Paris, France.
Това е моя снимка с Прабхупад в Париж.
I'm just going to show you. That's me on the right there. That's when I'm 22 years old.
Тук съм на 22 години.
Now I'm 71.
Сега съм на 71.
Okay, anyways, this is another very famous picture. That's in Paris, France. I'll pass it around. That's me on the far right, wearing the Nehru jacket. The short guy with the... Oh, sorry. It happens. Right there, quick, on the right.
Yes.
It closes real quick because it's... Anyways, I just want to show you this picture of what I looked like when I was... Okay, 1 minute.
Как изглеждал тогава с джунглите?
It's hard to do it from this angle. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Photos. Tagged photos. Maybe it's here. Yes, there we go. Okay. So after Mexico, which, I mean, first it was British Honduras, Belize, Mexico, and Los Angeles, I moved into the Bhakta program. And Donavir, famous guru, Donavir Das Goswami, he was the Bhakta program leader in the Los Angeles temple, and Prabhupada was there, giving the famous teachings of Queen Kunti lectures. So that's me after that trip of running through the jungles for many, many years. I mean, no, for 1 month. You wanted to see it, so sorry. Big difference.
This is before the Los Angeles program.
No, this is 3 or 4. This is 3 months after that, after Los Angeles. Back home in Seattle, that's wearing my saffron. Because it's right before I put on saffron and shaved my head. This is 1973, before most of you were born. And that's at my father's house, which I talked about earlier. And my mother said, "Hey, this will make a great photo before you put on your saffron." I said, "Okay." Oh, well, there's that photo. Okay, that's me when I came back from Belize. That's right there in the Los Angeles temple. Prabhupada is giving the class. That's me with the long hair and the T-lock there. I had much longer hair. I cut it off before I went to Mexico. It was like down to here, and now here. That's me right there with the hair. That's in Los Angeles temple, where Prabhupada is giving the class. This is snapped directly from the video. Now, when Prabhupada would walk into the room, I just thought, now that's enough of that, blah, 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 Abhinanda this, Abhinanda that, yeah, whatever.
Like George Harrison here.
Yeah, that's me that's me in the middle here. That's a book on chanting Hare Krishna. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, just to introduce you who I am. Anybody that wants to read, there's a lot of interesting nectar. I post mainly Prabhupada videos and Prabhupada photos and photos of Krishna on my Facebook account. Send me a friend request. Many videos, I work on that. Okay, so now, Srila Prabhupada was a very amazing personality, is an amazing personality. I remember when he walked into the Los Angeles temple room, it was the first time I was really, Krishna conscious. I'd been participating in the Bhakta program. I was very Krishna conscious. And when he walked into the temple room, the first time I saw him, there was a halo around his body, just like this, like Jesus. And I could see it.
Аз бях вече участвах в бакта програмите и когато за първи път зърнах Прабхупад, той имаше гигантско ореол около себе си.
Yes. And every question, because I was afraid to ask, that I had in my mind, he would answer that question,
И
like telepathically.
имах въпроси, които исках да задам на Прабхупад, но се притеснявах изключително много и той някак се отговаряше на тези въпроси, дори без да ги задава.
Later, I was requested. I'm going to make it a long story. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about, but later, after moving into the temple, there was a letter sent out by Srila Prabhupada. Please send 2 devotees to India immediately from every temple.
На по-късен етап, накратко да разкажа, Прабхупад изпрати писмо, в което пише, моля изпратите по 2 предано дадени от всеки един храм в Индия.
So I was selected, and after coming back and forth between India and America, I had started what was called the BBT Library Party in India, where we take entire Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam sets and put them into the libraries around the world. And we have to act as professional salespeople.
След като обикаляхме от Индия после обратно в Америка, аз участвах в една организация, където трябваше цели сетове с Шримад Бхагаватам да ги разпространяваме във всички библиотеки по целия свят.
And so I was speaking with Braja Krishna Prabhu the other day because I met his spiritual master. At that time, his name was Ganesham, Bhakti Tirtha Swami.
Говорих онзи ден с Браджа Кришна Прабу и неговият духовен учител. Тогава срещнах в тези години. Тогава той още имаше друго име. Бхакти Тиртha Swami е сега. Презент името му, а тогава се казваше, how was his name?
His name was Ganesham. Yes. So at that time, we sold in 1975 the first set together to a big university in Hyderabad, India.
Тогава с него заедно продадохме един цял сет Шримад Бхагаватам в университет в Индия.
But it wasn't until a few months later when I returned to Los Angeles and met Gargamuni Swami. That's Gargamuni, now it's Gargamuni Das, his brother Brahmananda, became Prabhupada's first disciples in 1966. So I was a part of his Sankirtan party.
И когато се върнах в Лос Анджелес след няколко месеца, срещнах брата на Брамананда, който е първият ученик на Прабхупад.
In fact, that is the first time and the last time that I remember meeting to His Holiness Bhakti Vaibhava Swami.
И това всъщност беше първият момент, в който се срещнах с Бхакти Вайбхава Свами и говорих с него.
So he won't remember me, and also that's the only time I met His Holiness, Bhakti Gauravani Goswami, who also won't remember me.
Той няма да ме помни, както и Бхакти Бхакти Гауравани Свами също няма да ме помни, тогава срещнах и него.
The only person that remembered me was Sachinandan Swami. Well, actually, I saw him about 35 years later at Krishna Balaram Mandir. But I met all of them when? Right before I came here. Okay? This is the first time I've been in Bulgaria since January 1976.
Това е първият път, който съм в България от януари
1976. In December of 1975, Gargamuni Swami, one of the first devotees of the Hare Krishna movement, pulls up in a van in front of the Los Angeles temple.
Един от първите свами на Искон, Гаргамуни Свами, тогава
And I had just gotten off the airplane from Seattle with my friend who we started the party with, the BBT book distribution party in India. Now we were in Los Angeles trying to get a vehicle to do this work in India. So Gargamuni rolls the window down. Hey, I heard about you guys.
Кола, с която да пренесем, да свършим тази работа с разпространението на сетовете Шримад Бхагаватам в Индия. И тогава всъщност Гаргамуни Свами спря с вана и каза: Ей, момчета,
Do you know how to drive?
Знаете ли как да карате?
Do you have your passport?
Имате ли паспорт?
I said yes, yes.
Казахме да.
Okay, you were leaving next week to Frankfurt. Germany.
Добре, тогава тръгваме следващата седмица за Франкфурт, Германия.
And you're going to drive one of our, and Karandar's there right now, he's a big GBC. He's purchasing 6 brand new Mercedes vans from the factory. And you're going to be driving one of them.
Вие ще карате един от новите 6 Мерцедес вана, които...
And we're like, what? It's like, I mean, can you imagine you roll down, you just get off the airplane and somebody tells you this. You're just like, okay, no problem.
Слизаш от самолета и някой сваля джама на колата и ти казва, другата седмица тръгваме за Франкфурт, ще караш един миниванче с нов на Мерцедес. И аз бях, вау, окей.
So in the middle of winter, here we are with a snow, much more snow than we have, today. On the way here, there's snow up in the mountains. Oh, there was like 3 or 4, 5, 6 meters on both sides of the road, and we went through Sofia and then up over those, the mountains through the ski resort. And there was so much snow. Oh. So we had to get out of the vans in our doties and shovel the snow. There was a caravan of 6 vehicles. So this is basically what we're doing now. This is called, in the Association of Devotees, I'm revealing my mind in confidence to you. And then we're supposed to inquire confidentially. To inquire confidentially. This is the two types of loving, one of the many types of loving exchanges between two devotees or more devotees, 2 or more. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about one other subject matter. So that just tells you basically who I am and where I'm coming from and why am I here? Well, all of a sudden, I had this idea. Well, Patita Pavana, a few years ago, Patita Pavana, he's an astrologer. He lives with his wife, Abhay Mudra, in, what's it called? Near to that big city with a B, Babograd? Yes.
You don't say this was from Germany to India.
Oh, you want me to talk more about that? You want to hear about it? Are you sure? Okay, I can. This one. Okay, then let's finish it. We can get. Well, okay, all right. You want to hear about that? Okay, let's continue that trip. Okay, I just went 40 years in the future. Maybe we should go back to the 1976. Okay, yeah, all right. We'll talk about that by popular demand. Is that okay, Gaurachandra? Okay, wonderful. How to show. Okay, so after Bulgaria, we went down into Turkey. And I remember it was so difficult because Srila Prabhupada had told us, it wasn't difficult for sleeping. It was the first time in our Hare Krishna life where Prabhupada ordered that we must sleep 10 hours every day. Seriously. Normally we're supposed to sleep 6 hours or less. But he told this personally to Gargamuni Swami because many devotees, and it's still happening today, fall asleep and go off the road. Bye.
Всъщност Шрила Прабхупад казал лично на Гарgamuni Swami, че трябва да спим толкова, защото в ден днешен се случва това, че много преданодайни карат за да спиват и излизат от пътя.
So Srila Prabhupada said that for every hour that you drive, you must have that many hours of sleep. So we were driving, 10 hours every day.
Прабхупад е казал, колкото часа пътуване имаме с колите, толкова трябва да спим, затова ние карахме по 10 часа и спахме по 10 часа.
We had air freighted New Vrindavan ghee. That's butter oil from, New Vrindavan ghee from West Virginia to Frankfurt. And there's a special type of ice, not ordinary ice, nitrogen, dry ice. What's the word for dry ice in Bulgarian or Russian? It's the kind of, when they go to the rock shows, this ice like makes a smoke.
I just forgot.
And nobody knows the name. I couldn't add, nobody knew the name either. Anybody knows the name in Bulgarian or Russian? Okay, thank you. So that was packed in the ice chest, and what was inside? Gorchana, what was inside? No, not the ghee. Ghee doesn't. You don't need to make it cold. Homemade New Vrindavan. What's it called? In English, it's called sour cream. In Polish, it's called what? Semenka, something. What's that?
Śmietana.
Yeah, smetana. Yes. Yes. And how do you say it in Bulgarian? Exactly. Incredible. And what did we do with that? We couldn't touch it. It was like, oh my, we had to take it to Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. So none of the ghee, none of the sour cream was touched for 6 weeks. That's how long it took. We drove from Frankfurt, Germany to Calcutta, India. And then to Mayapur. It was wild and crazy, but we did it. One time I remember in Turkey, after the mountains, in the Bulgaria, but we got down on the plains, it's very flat, and the snow was melting, okay, because of the hot sun, and the highway was flooded.
That's in Turkey, yeah?
Yes. So there was like this much water going across the road for miles. So the danger was as you're driving, your vehicle is just going to go into the river and disappear, just go bye-bye. So while I was driving, then my assistant, my buddy, my good friend, I can't say assistant, but anyways, he was jumping up and down like this in the back, right, to keep the traction. And that's how we did it. We made it. And what did we eat? Well, we were staying. We walked into before that. We walked in. I think we came into Bulgaria, and or part of Russia. I can't remember which country it was, but it was a Soviet country at that time. Bulgaria was never Soviet. It was different, correct? Because he walked into the visa office, and there was Stalin's picture, on the wall. And he had to stamp the passport, We had our passport, every page was just completely full. I'm talking, that's how many visas we had. Stamps. Anyways, but when we got, so I could go into so many details, a whole book. In fact, they want us to write a book about this. But, who was on that party? Okay, Sridhar Swami, Subhag Swami, Gargamuni Swami. These are the famous, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, Mahavishnu Swami, Prabha Vishnu Swami. These are the famous devotees. Karandar was very famous, and he was a Grihastha. Kirti Raj, very famous devotee in Russia. He was one of the first devotees to smuggle books into Russia from Eastern Europe. Okay, Kirti Raj Prabhu, Kirti Raj Jakubko. I think that's a Polish name, right? So when we got to Mayapur, at this time it was not the BBT Library Party. It was called the Mayapur Chandradoya Worldwide Traveling Sankirtan Party.
BBC, а се е казвал...
One van was for prashad, just making the prasadam.
Единия ван е само за просада.
One van was for book distribution on the streets.
Другия бус е бил само за разпространение на книги по улиците.
One van was for Harinam Sankirtan.
Другия ван е бил за Харинам Санкиртан.
One van was for life membership.
Другия е за животен мембършип.
One van was for pandal programs like circus tents.
Другия бус е бил за пандали, такива като на цирковете, където ги опъват.
And one van was the BBT library party, putting books into the libraries.
Единия бус беше за BBT програмата, която разпространява книгите в...
But something very amazing happened. After 1 month of doing all these different programs, Prabhupada wrote to Gargamuni Swami, stop everything, only libraries.
И след месец с такива пътувания при Месия, Прабхупад пише писмо на Гаргамуни Свами и казва: спрете всичките бусове и само библиотеките зареждайте.
Everybody in all of the GBC, all the sannyasis, from whether it be Jayapataka, Bhavananda, Gopal Krishna, Giri Raj, everyone was like, what? This, everybody was shocked, everybody, including myself.
Всички са били в пълен шок, джибисата, Свами и абсолютно всички са били в пълен шок, като се е случило това нещо.
That was how dear. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada himself, before he came to America, I found the 1963 signature of Srila Prabhupada in the National Library of his books. The 1963 Bhagavatam set was in the National Library in Delhi. I saw it. It's such a dear program to Srila Prabhupada.
Всъщност тази програма за разпространение на книгите по библиотеките била толкова ценна и толкова скъпа на Прабхупад. Прабху казва, че е виждал подписа на Прабхупад на сета на Шримад Бхагаватам 1963 в библиотеката в Дели.
I mean, Prabhupada knew all these things that were going on with my fight to get this program to happen in India. I mean, it wasn't easy, trust me. I mean, I left a lot of the details out, but there was a whole war. Even Sukadev or somebody in Seattle Temple intercepted a letter which said, Prabhupada said, it was a very good idea that the Seattle Temple purchase, finance, and maintain a van in India for book distribution. I never got that letter. Understand? But Gargamuni, arranged everything to get that van.
Прабхупад е изпратил някакво писмо, което така и не е стигнало до тях, но Гаргамуни Свами тогава и в това писмо е пишело точно да вземат бус, с който да разпространят тези книги навсякъде. И това писмо не е стигнало до тях, но Гаргамуни Свами организира това цялото нещо.
Because, anyways, so then,
Има толкова много детайли, които той Прабхупад...
all 6 vans have been converted into selling Bhagavatam sets to the libraries. But we needed books.
Всичките Бхагаватам...
We needed the Bhagavatam sets, the entire encyclopedia.
Окей, целият сет от Шримад Бхагаватам е бил готов да се разпространява, но са нямали книги.
So Prabhupada personally air freighted Bhagavatam sets and Chaitanya Charitamrita sets from Los Angeles to Bombay for this purpose.
И Прабхупад лично е изпратил сетове на Шримад Бхагаватам и Chaitanya Charitamrita до Индия, специално лично го е направил.
So after the Mayapur festival, 1976, we had gone up to the Himalayas and then down to Vrindavan to meet Srila Prabhupada in May of 1976.
Всъщност през 1966 минахме през Хималаите до къде?
In May of 1976. We met, Prabhupada had invited us, this party, to come and meet, at this point, I had never met Srila Prabhupada. And so, it was very interesting, one morning, I was chanting my japa where the samadhi is, where Prabhupada is, buried in Vrindavan. There's a huge temple at Krishna Balaram Mandir, but there was, of course, it wasn't there then. Prabhupada was in his house, behind the temple, the little house.
Тези години Прабхупад беше там, където в момента е самарито на Прабхупад, и Прабхупад се беше отзад в стаята и да.
So before I met Srila Prabhupada, this is early in the morning, like sunrise, just before sunrise, it's still getting light. All of a sudden, who walks in the gate? Srila Prabhupada's Paramahansa godbrother, His Divine Grace Paramahansa Krishna Das Babaji.
Тогава, точно преди изгрева на слънцето, през портата влезе неговият духовен брат.
He had all mystic powers.
Той имаше всички.
Well, not all of them, but he had the ability to disappear, because all of a sudden I was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and I see him like this out of the corner of my eye. He comes up off the ground, and he's like this with his. He's off the ground now, and then I'm going. And they're walking into Prabhupada's house, 100 plus meters in a fraction of a second, walking into Prabhupada's house. Paramahansa Krishna Das Babaji, Prabhupada's godbrother. Only one who ever visited Prabhupada was two people at that time, Paramahansa Krishnadas Babaji and his brahmachari godbrother Ananda Maharaj. Otherwise, we never saw anybody else at that, come to visit Prabhupada. I'm not saying there didn't somebody else. Maybe they came to visit. Puri Maharaj was favorable in Puri. He was at Visakhapatnam then. Anyway, so this was amazing. Then Gopal Krishna Maharaj, at that time Dasa Adhikari, comes running up to me. It's like 20 minutes later, okay, after that happened. Krishnadas Babaji has left. Abhinanda, Prabhupada wants to meet you. Would you like to meet Prabhupada? And I'm looking at him, no. No, I don't want to meet Prabhupada. Of course. Why do you have to? What kind of a question? Anyways, what kind of a question is that? But anyways, I said, but I was so afraid because I'm just like a simple little boy, I was afraid, But okay, so then I went there. I'm walking into Prabhupada's room. Then I'm all by myself. And he's sitting behind, just like you see, like, if you ever been to, who's been to Prabhupada's house at Krishna Balaram Mandir? Okay, so he's sitting like this with the glasses over his nose behind the desk, the black frame glasses, and he's translating the Bhagavatam. It's exactly like that. So here I am, all by myself, no recording, no tape, no secretary, it's just me and Srila Prabhupada. And he wants to talk to me. I'm going, oh my God, Hare Krishna, it's like so afraid. So then I offer my obeisances, like for me to, dial Nityananda Prabhu. Prabhupada is over there where dial Nityananda Prabhu is, and I'm here, and I offer my obeisances. And then he says, come closer. Like this. He doesn't say anything, just come closer. So then I'm about as far as Suryakund Prabhu is from dial Nityananda. Okay? You can translate. And he says, no. And after a couple more exchanges, I'm standing, literally. You're Prabhupada, you're sitting at the desk. And he's sitting down. And I'm right here, my feet, I'm touching his body practically. And he looks up at me, just like you're looking at me. This close, look at me, this close, okay? This close. With no glasses, his glasses are down like that. And he says, thank you very much. Is there anything that I can do for you? Man, I started crying. Tears were flowing from my eyes, and I could not control them. I felt so embarrassed, but I could not control it. It was like, you have to imagine that this was the initiation. I mean, this was such an incredible, overpowering flow of energy. It's like, can you imagine you're with Jesus Christ, and Jesus tells you this? What would you feel? That's Prabhupada, just like that. So I felt,
Момента на посвещение е просто как се почувствате, ако Исус Христос е пред вас. Това е Шрила правата.
so then I sat, then he said, okay, sit down, like sit down. So he didn't say anything, just, sit down, try to calm yourself, like that, And so then I sat down in front of him, like, you're Prabhupada, I was right here in front of his desk, but I couldn't stop, It's just like, I wasn't saying anything, but just tears were flowing. So then he, after a few minutes of, wasting his time, he said, kind of like, okay, you can go, so then I left. And after that, it was only by letter.
Всъщност той ми каза след това, седни, успокой се малко, нали, аз седнах така, размяхме доста близко до него, обаче просто нямаше как да си контролирам емоциите. И мина малко време, нали, и каза, окей, може да тръгваш, нали, след това общувахме само по писма.
So in other words, if we can come up with a project, with an idea, and take a risk for the spiritual master,
Ако можем да измислим идея, да рискуваме за нашия духовен учител,
and follow through with great determination, no matter at what cost,
и да следваме тая мисия, независимо от цената и какво ще коства тя,
then Krishna will be very pleased.
тогава Кришна ще е много удовлетворен от нас.
So I received some, anyway, so any questions or comments? Because I don't know how much time, what the time is now, and it's 6 o'clock. I completely went off. I was going to talk about so many other things, but anyways, by your... I skipped a lot of parts of the whole book could be written about that travel, just that journey, and also the steps before we got those vans. But anyways, I hope my plan is now that I'm going to be staying here for 2 weeks. I'm going to India for 2 weeks. I'm coming back for 2 weeks, and then I'm flying to America.
Както и да иска да кажа още много неща и много детайли преди с историята с бусовете, разпространението на книгите, но да, сега планът ми е да остана тук за 2 седмици, след това да отида за 2 седмици в Индия, след това пак да се върна за 2 седмици в България и след това да замина за Америка.
And then if the war doesn't start, I'll be back. It's pretty crazy out there right now. I mean, hello, New Brajaloka ki jai, self-sufficiency ki jai. Okay, so we can talk about it. So it must have some questions, or I didn't have any chance to talk about. What time is Prashada? I mean, what's their program?
Usually we can stay here till 7:30.
Okay, now it's 6. And so so what time do you, after the class, and what do you do?
Maybe until 6:30 we can
keep going?
ask some questions.
Oh yeah, let's have some questions now, especially from new people. Yes, Prabhu.
Не, аз нямам въпрос, просто искам да кажа, че ето, който търси, намира. Вие сте търсили, сте намерили.
Comment, let's comment, no questions.
Yeah, it's a comment.
Go ahead, please.
He says just, I don't want to ask, I just want to add that
Sure.
when you search for something, you're finding, and when you're determined to find it, you're getting to it. You're finding it.
Yes, you have to be very determined. One of the qualifications to be a good Vaishnava is determination and patience.
Точно така, едно от главните качества да бъдеш вайшнава е да имаш решителност и спокойствие, търпение.
Maya is very strong. She's the expert devotee to keep us in illusion.
Майя е експерт, предно отдаден и тя е най-добра в това да държи в илюзия.
And so it's very, it doesn't stop. All of us, especially at a younger stage, we know how difficult it is in our younger bodies, with our desires, our mind, etc. It never stops. It never goes away till the time of death.
Особено като сме в младите ни тела, с нашите всички тези желания, които имаме като сме млади, всичките неща, които искаме да постигаме, това нещо не свършва, докато не настъпи момента на смъртта.
Okay, so anything else?
Някой друг да добави въпроси, нещо свързано. Нещо, което ви е интересно.
What is your name, Prabhu, with a black sweatshirt? What's your name?
My name?
Yes.
This is blue, by the way. Navy.
What?
This is navy, by the way.
Navy.
Yeah,
Blue.
Oh, sorry. Navy blue. Yeah. Actually, that's interesting because I'm wearing this is also supposed to be navy, but it's almost,
My name is Dimitar, and my spiritual name is Divya Dara.
Divya Dada. And like Dimitri, but
Absolutely.
something like that.
something like
Dimitar.
Dimitar.
Aha, that's interesting. Isn't wonderful? That's almost like a dimitar. Is that like a knife or a sword? That's a scimitar.
I think the roots are from goddess Demetra from Greece.
Aha, goddess Demetra from Greece. Wow. So you must have some. You were like interested in a lot of ways in the course of our presentation. So what did you discover, or what do you think? Because you seem to be. What is your experience in your own life? What about how did you come to Krishna consciousness?
How did I come to this?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
my God. Where should I start from?
Well, whatever. Were you distressed? Were you wise?
Absolutely. Since I was child, I was very different from the other people.
Aha.
And I even today we spoke that I even have a picture with the pranam, and I was sitting in lotus.
Wow.
It was 94th, 95th.
Wonderful. And
And
how old were you in 94?
95th or 6th, I was 4 years old, something like that.
Aha.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know.
So you're like 31, 32 years of age.
Yes, exactly.
You're the same age as you're the same age as one of my daughters.
Okay, nice.
All
But
right.
I was trying to share with all of you that
Please.
I was a searcher, but I was lost and I was playing. I was a rugby player in this city, for Varna city, and I was destroyed physically. And probably this is also an inner process because I felt terrible, like muscle blockages everywhere. So I went to one massage studio, and I didn't know the woman back then. So what was interesting about it that she told me, listen, I can do this massage for you and I will fix you, but this is going to be temporary solution.
Okay.
I'm Hatha yoga instructor.
Oh wow.
Yes, come just one time, and if you like it, I'm going to show you how you can cure your body, your physical body and your inner body as well. So anyway, long story short is that since I chanted the first time Om, something magical happens to me, and 4 years after that, it was my first traveling to India.
Aha, wonderful.
5 days, and
Wow.
then the next year for 30, and here I am afterwards. Yeah, but this is a very
That's very quick, very short.
Yeah.
And what about the woman next to you? What about your story?
I'm very new. Actually, I exhausted everything. And
You what?
I exhausted almost everything.
You exhausted through almost everything. You tried everything.
Exactly. I've been dancing tango for 4 years.
Wow.
Just quit it. That was,
A tango teacher.
well, no, I was just a tango dancer.
Okay.
Very passionate, very interested. However,
Sure,
4
okay.
years gone. 4 years of psychology, just studying.
Okay.
Well, professionally, I'm architect.
Aha.
Keep on doing this. However, out of a sudden, I started visiting classes by one very interesting person, Oleg Dmitrievich Lomikin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's studying all the religions. He's got his classes in the Sufis for 5 years.
Ah, Sufi, yes.
And also he's been in for 1 month in caves with no water and no food at all.
Wow.
Just staying on prayers. And well, he mentioned several times Srimad Bhagavatam
Correct.
and also Mahabharata. And though I've never watched any serials or nothing, I just watched Mahabharata like fire. Just got stuck on Bhagavad Gita. And what should I say? In the summer, I just ordered Srimad Bhagavatam. The same very day, I went on the street and I met Krishna Society people.
Wow.
Well, and for I'm in such
Here in Varna?
here in Varna, and I'm in such enthusiasm. Practically, I sleep maybe 6 hours night, and I wake up every morning for 2 hours to read. However, I've got one question for you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'm not much
I might not be able to answer it, but I'll try. Go ahead.
Well,
You're not what?
I'm not much interested in
In doing the japa, okay.
Yes, but because reading is what I need right now.
Okay,
And
I understand.
listen
Okay.
to lections while I'm working. So
Sure.
it really feels great.
Okay.
I've never ever had such experiences before, and what I really noticed.
Do you listen in Bulgarian or to English? In Prabhupada's
In Russian,
English and Russian. Okay.
and
You're Russian.
well, I'm not Russian, though
No, I don't know. No, you don't look like, I don't know. I'm just curious. But generally, you listen in Russian. Okay, it's available.
Well, and also in English.
Yeah, there's a very nice app that your brother gave me, by the way, Nitai Chandra. It's called Srila Prabhupada Vani. You can put it on your phone and listen to great lectures all the time. I'll share it if anybody wants. It's called on Play Store, Srila Prabhupada Vani. Please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I learned very recently that if 1% of the citizens of one place, like in Varna, it is 3,500 people, if 3,500 people in Varna chant regularly
Yeah.
the Maha Mantra, then Kali is gone. Well, I'm very lucky to see that we have a new mayor who is doing some changes in the administration.
Really? Wonderful.
Well, that's the other question, I have for you. How do we get more people chanting?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we've distributed millions of these books all over the world, tens of millions. I don't know, maybe 100 million. I don't know. It's a very interesting question because what I see is, based on the results, people are joining, especially in India and Russia. These are the two places. But outside of these two countries, maybe in China, underground, there's a huge following of Hare Krishna devotees in China. What else?
Just to translate a little
Yeah,
bit.
please. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Матич пита
You can translate the whole thing.
Накратко, да. Откъде идва, как е срещнала баксите във Варна и преди това историята. Няма да я разказвам цялата. Но накрая въпросът беше генерално, как можем да призовем повече хора да повтарят Харе Кришна. И Махарадж каза, че всъщност генерално най-много бакти излизат от Русия и от Америка и underground на Китай също има много предано дадени.
Okay.
Защо е важно? Защо е важно много хора да припяват Маха мантрата, най-великата мантра, която представлява всъщност целия космос. Тя е най-прекрасното съчетание от думи въобще. Защото ако 1% от населението в едно място го прави, тогава тази тотално гадна епоха, в която живеем, която е пълна бърканица, раздорите между хората, едни хора управляват, едни хора, които не е съвсем мястото там да управляват, то си отива. Настъпва ред, за който аз честно казвам не вярвам, че съществува, не съм знаела, че съществува, е описан в тези книги.
Translate that. Translate that. I want to see how we're going to translate.
Yeah, translate it into English first,
In this fantastic books, it is written that such order in the society exists, which I never ever believed before.
Aha.
Actually, I even believe that.
Well, to answer your question, your enthusiasm can definitely contribute to this result.
Определено може да допринесе към този резултат.
To be very enthusiastic, to be very determined, to be very patient, these are the good qualities. But the difficulty is, how much time do we really have?
Not much.
Exactly. Look at this current situation in the world events right now. I mean, and the predictions of your own saint, Baba Vanga. So purity is the force. But how many of us, can really live up to that standard?
But isn't it like a spiritual evolution, this what we are describing? I don't believe that everyone is going to get to
I agree. I agree.
Different state of mind.
I agree with that. That's the practical. Go ahead. You can translate.
Да, току-що попитах, вследствие на всичко, което чухме, просто изразих мнение, че този път не е за всеки, защото всеки е в различен етап от съзнанието си. Еволюционно, да.
How do we get more people to? Well, we keep up the program. We simply try to become pure, distribute the books, the prasadam, it's the same program. But will people actually surrender to Krishna in this lifetime? I'll be very surprised, to be honest with you. We've tried, we tried.
1,000 years of golden age.
Correct. That is a very interesting point. But you have to analyze Srila Prabhupada's letters and secret conversations in that regard. The golden age begins at the advent of Lord Chaitanya, but where's the Satya Yuga within the Kali Yuga? Prabhupada says very clearly that will begin after the war.
True. But this is good as well.
Yes, the materialistic civilization will be destroyed, and then people will take it seriously.
Yeah. Is the way it is. Even if you look to Mahabharata.
Yes, same. In
Story.
Yes.
Different times.
But yes, the golden age. But where is the golden age? What's that? What? Oh, Bulgarian. Yeah, please. Yeah, now, yeah.
So,
It's all there on the database. It's all there. It's all there.
всъщност как да действаме, за да може това нещо да се разпространи, този духовен напредък да се прояви. Ние просто продължаваме да поддържаме програмите, продължаваме да повтаряме Харе Кришна Маха мантра, да се опитваме да служим, но дали хората ще се отдадат веднага и дали ще последват това движение, това е нещо, което не знаем. Прабхупад е казал, че всъщност златната ера в Кали Юга започва след войната, т.е. след като всички материалисти бъдат заличени, тогава ще започне и Прабху даде пример с Махабарата, точно подобна история в различно време.
What I encourage, what is your name?
My name?
No, her name.
Елена.
Elena, or anybody that's interested, if you really, I don't want to discuss it too much because, I've been advised not to, but if you're interested, you take out your telephone or your computer and you put Vani Quotes. Vani Quotes is a website that's from the Bhaktivedanta archives.
Vani Quotes е вебсайт от архивите на Бхактиведанта.
And once you type in Vani Quotes, then you put World War III or War.
Намерите Vani Quotes, ще напишете World War, световна война 3 или само война, War на английски.
And then you will find everything that Srila Prabhupada talks about on his morning walk conversations.
И ще откриете всъщност всичко, което Прабхупад казва на сутрешните му разходки с преднодадените по въпроса за войната.
Okay, that's what I would suggest that you can do. Either World War or nuclear. There's another key word. All you do is put Vani Quotes and you put the key word in that you're interested in.
Просто пишете Vani Quotes и задавате думата, която се интересувате от нея. Примерно война, war или nuclear.
And you want to go, once you get into the contents, like there's Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, lectures, you want to go to conversations and morning walks.
И има менюта и цъквате на conversations and morning walks.
Okay?
73-та.
I was there in Mayapur when Prabhupada first discussed this on a morning walk in 1974.
Аз бях там, когато Прабхупад на сутрешна разходка разясняваше този случай през 74-та за световната война.
So that's what I would do. That's one thing. And then what's the other one? Nuclear Vani Quotes. Anyway, so that way you can research it, and then you can understand what does Prabhupada say about it, because then you can understand.
Така може да разберете по-дълбоко и също да видите какво казва Прабхупад и да имате по-дълбоко разбиране за това.
For example, one thing that's very interesting, in 1947, after the nuclear weapons were first created,
After which year?
1947,
След 1974, след като атомните оръжия са били създадени.
and then I think it was in 1952 and 1956, Srila Prabhupada talks in the Back to Godhead magazine that he started at that time.
През 52 и 54, Прабхупад, когато обсъжда тези теми в неговото списание Back to Godhead.
He said that he said in 47 that the nuclear weapons were actually created by Lord Krishna.
Всъщност той казва, че атомните оръжия са били създадени от Бог Кришна
For the destruction of the materialistic civilization.
за разрушаване разрушаването на материалистичната цивилизация.
And in 1956, in another Back to Godhead article,
На 56-та в друг артикъл Прабхупад казва,
he writes that after a lapse, that means after 50 years, no dates given, no prediction, but after 50 years, the weapons will be used.
Прабхупад споменава, че не казва точни дати или определен период, не казва, че след 50.
Anyways, I think Bulgaria is a safe place. I don't think there's any real military targets. It'll be the conflict Prabhupada talks about will between Russia and America.
Мисля, че България е място, което е извън тая зона. Прабхупад може би говори за конфликта между Русия и Америка.
But they'll use India and Pakistan as the battlefield.
Те ще използват Индия и Пакистан за бойното поле.
I mean, it's logical because in India, in South India, there's one temple.
Логично е, защото в Индия, в Северна Индия има един храм.
It's called the Padmanabha Swami Mandir in Trivandrum city.
Така се казва в този град.
And the treasure there is worth more than $1 trillion. Trillion, not billion, trillion.
Богатството, което има в този храм, струва повече от не знам с колко трилиона.
So there you go. There's a reason right there. What's the use of this paper they make in America? You know that the American dollar is manufactured in a private, not government. It's a private business. They just print paper.
Причината се стои в Америка. Доларът всъщност е принтиран в частна атмосфера, не е държавен.
Anyways, Hare Krishna. I don't want to. So I hope that this never happens, but I think most of us realize we might see it in our lifetime.
Харе Кришна, аз не се надявам да се случи, но повечето от нас може би реализират това, че това най-вероятно ще се случи в нашето време.
I'm not trying to scare anybody, or I'm not trying to say that this is going to happen. I'm just saying what is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, Baba Vanga, etc.
Не се опитвам да наплаша някой, но просто споменавам това.
Nostradamus. I'm not a seer. I don't have that ability.
Nostradamus и всеки такива пророци.
Another one is Achyutananda, 500 years ago,
Също Achyutananda преди 500 години.
who was a prophet and tantric in Puri in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes.
Който е бил пророк в забавленията на Лорд Чайтаня преди 500 години в Пури.
Achyutananda Das. Nothing to do with the Bengali one, the Puri one.
Няма общо с
Anyways, so much.
Бенгалия, този от Пури.
Okay, I don't know what else to say. The golden age, yes, I agree. Where is it? But we haven't seen it yet.
Да, златната ера окей, но още сякаш не сме видяли.
Prabhupada says the Satya Yuga will begin after this.
Прабхупад каза, че Сатя Юга ще започне след това.
The Satya Yuga that's within the Kali Yuga.
Сатя Юга, която се намира по време на Кали Юга.
That's amazing, if you think about what is Satya, What do you think, Gaurachandra? Yeah, what do you think about all this? No, I don't know. What about you, Suryakun? What do you think? What to do? How can we stop this from happening now?
For myself, I want. I have fighting my heart to be pure devotee, and if I stop my bad things and I have a nice quality and to have.
Very good point.
To just with many people and to be pure in my heart and to chant purely the holy name and the devotees there, specification and Kali Yuga for the absolute true Krishna, the holy name and the devotees. And when we chant the name and we cooperate with the devotees, this would happen.
Yes.
Spiritual.
I mean, Prabhupada. Yeah, go ahead.
Прабху каза, че от негова гледна точка той смята и вярва, че ако всеки от нас, както той казва, използва това, което има в себе си като решителност и отдаденост, да станеш чувствено отдаден, да споделяш цялото това общуване в атмосфера на предани, това натурално ще създаде една атмосфера, която всъщност е духовният свят, не е материалният свят, няма общо с него.
Actually, the devotees were panicking when Prabhupada was, you can hear their voices,
Всъщност, преданите, когато Прабхупад споделя тези фрактурации...
What should we do, Prabhupada? What should we do?
Преданите се чува в гласовете им, когато чуват тези...
Chant Hare Krishna.
Плашени и те не знаят какво да правим Прабхупад. И той казва...
I mean, if it happens, how much time do we have? 30 minutes, right? What can you do? Exactly, right. Exactly. And hopefully, in our next life, we'll be, have an opportunity to take up where we left off and make progress. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's right. We live forever, but what about my children? What about my family? It's like, what about it'd be nice that there's some people left, some devotees left, right? Prabhupada said, start the farm communities, get away from the cities, because he said the target will be the cities. I mean, I'm talking about New York, Washington, San Diego, which is where I'm from. Hello. I mean, Seattle. Do you know that the number one nuclear target in the world is San Diego? Why? It's the headquarters for the Pacific Fleet Command. All the submarines, all the nuclear submarines, all the battleships, all the nuclear weapons that are in the Pacific Ocean that are on these ships and submarines are controlled from that point. It's right downtown, this huge computer, covering many hectares of land, that control center. So naturally that you take that out. Not Prabhupada.
No.
Oh, me. Oh, go.
About the cities and go...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, well, you have a good memory. Thank you. I forgot.
Прабхупад казал всъщност, това е едно добро представление. Напуснете големите градове и започнете фарм комьюнити, ферми в малките градчета и селца, защото всъщност таргетите на целите на тези атомни войни ще бъдат всъщност именно големите градове, големите градове като Нью Йорк, Сан Диего и той ги изреди първо.
But one thing that I'll have to say that it's not logical. Nuclear war is not logical.
Но атомната война всъщност не е нещо логическо, не е нещо...
Neither does Biden, neither does Trump, neither does Putin, neither does, what's his name, Narendra Modi, what's the guy, Z, or the guy in charge of China? Who wants nuclear war? Because all of their sense gratification, their, Caribbean islands or whatever, right? Like, that'll all be destroyed.
Защото всъщност това няма никаква логика, тъй като всичките тези управници, Байден, Тръмп и всякакви други, които всъщност цялото им сетивно наслаждение ще бъде отнето. Никой не иска всъщност това да се случи.
So it seems to me it would happen by accident. I mean, or by some, fanatic, otherwise it's not logical.
Според мен това ще се случи по някакъв на случайен принцип или някаква фанатична личност в амбициите си ще направи, защото няма никаква логика това да иска някой да го направи лично.
But anyway, that's why, now we're in such a situation that we should do our level best to take it seriously, to try to become good devotees so that, we'll be promoting our soul to a higher level, a higher state, a higher birth, go back home, back to Godhead, back to Krishna, whatever we can possibly do. That would be nice. But are we going to take it seriously? Well, maybe, probably not, I wish we could. I wish I could.
Да си възвишим душите, да си
получим
по-висше раждане, да се върнем обратно вкъщи, обратно при Кришна. И това е целта ни, но дали ще успеем? Аз бих, казва Радж.
Very interesting thought. Even Jesus tried to do that.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It was the same mission.
True.
Искал да направи това при 2000 години. Това е същата мисия.
Да изкара посветен to show the way to the devotees how can they raise their vibration.
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think now, Elena? After this is all,
The Lord is always coming for this reason, to help the devotees and to destroy all the rest. So
yeah.
Maybe you're right. This is why, this is Krishna's will perhaps to happen, this nuclear war or whatever. Otherwise, how they will go out? Always interested in pleasure and in power.
Yeah, exactly.
How they go out? They will go out.
Struggling over, land and, weapons and crazy, huh?
Sick mind.
Exactly. I mean, just like what's going on. Yes, Prabhu.
That time when Prabhupada was asking you, can he do something for you? Something what you could ask, or even now, maybe you will ask something for something.
Прабху пита, ако
Aha.
в момента, който Прабхупад е благодарил на Махарадж за това, че е свършил това цялото служение към него, има и накрая...
Well, I did...
Имаш нещо, което би помолил, което аз мога да направя за теб и Прабху пита дали има нещо, което сега дали би попитал, дали нещо, което да поиска от Прабхупад.
When Prabhupada asked that question to me, I immediately started, crying, or, breaking up. But I said, Prabhupada, you have done everything. There's nothing you can do for me. I mean, no, Prabhupada, you've done. I couldn't even get the words out, but that's what I meant to say. That you've done everything for me. No, Prabhupada, no, you've done everything. But yeah, and whether can we do? How do we? Yes, by begging his forgiveness, by begging his mercy to continue seriously on that path. That's what he could do for me now.
Това, което може да направи той сега за мен е да аз да се помоля за неговата милост, за да остана на този духовен път и да се развивам в служение на неговата мисия. Това е което може да направи за мен в момента.
But you see, action speaks louder than words.
Действията говорят повече от думите.
So what can we do? I mean, practical help that not only, we are a member of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, which means to spread these ideas to others, not just to keep it to ourselves.
Ние сме участници в мисията на Бог Чайтания на разпространение на святото име и нашата мисия е да разпространяваме това нещо на всички други, не само за нас, да го споделяме.
So we're hoping at New Brajaloka in our farm project to demonstrate different types of survival, agriculture, sustainable energy, cow protection.
Where can we find out a little bit more about this project?
And provide housing for devotees, which we're doing right now. Best is to talk to Gaurachandra's brother, Nitai Chandra, in my opinion. The twins. I have his phone number. That's the way to get exact, precise information. Like I know right now, for example, we need somebody to help take care of the cows. We need somebody that's good at carpentry. We need somebody that's interested in agriculture. These are things that you can be very practically help. Right, Gaurachandra? Any comments on that? These are three things that we've talked about. They're most important.
Actually, in the farm community, we have everything.
What was that?
In the farm community, we have everything.
No, but what can he do to help? He was wondering, where can he get more information?
We can serve the devotees coming here.
Incredible prasadam, I'll tell you that.
Фермата ми всичко. Имаме абсолютно всичко. Ние от 3 месеца си правим брашно, наши хляб си правим от много години, но там си наши сладки шеми си, наше мляко, наше кисело мляко, наше сирене, наши крави, имаме си голяма оранжерия, в която си гледаме много зеленчуци и това, което е, някой дойде, ние сме на усъжда. Това е причина.
Къде е това? Къде? Прекрасно е това. Salute to that. Something really amazing to hear. You don't hear things like this every day. I'm very happy and proud that this is happening in my country.
Oh, really? You don't? Now,
I just find out about that.
Really? There is.
I definitely believe that this is part of our future plan.
what you
What
need,
they are doing, this is the next step for the community. There's
Well,
no other way.
the best thing would be, for example, on WhatsApp. Are you on WhatsApp?
Yep.
Then I can share his contact, his brother's contact.
Yeah.
Oh, that you have? Okay.
He just gave you the visit card.
Yeah, okay, perfect. That has the phone number on it. It's on WhatsApp. And I'd be happy. Yeah, you can pass out as many as you like. If you want me to give it to you directly on your WhatsApp right now, I'm ready to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, please. But I don't have phone with me now. I have to give you my number.
All right, no problem. Anybody that wants, to give me their contact and keep in touch, I'll be happy to share.
Thank you very much. My phone number is
One
plus.
minute. Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, +35. Okay. Okay, plus. You can also translate +359. No. No. 895. 05. Okay.
2600.
Okay. Okay, everybody. So we got 359-89-505-2600. All right.